Hi everyone. So it's the Psychic Sleuth, and I have a little bit of a surprise for you today. Oops, my computer is falling. So we're gonna probably not be doing very many live readings anymore because I seem to pick up the thoughts in the chat. And it's not on purpose, it's just that I'm an open channel and apparently I can do that. And we weren't even knowing that before. So we're gonna probably be doing most of our cases via recording, and then I'll post them. But today I wanted to try and see if I can find the murder weapon and get into BK's mind. I want to see what the final thoughts are, what else may happen, and see if I can locate that, since I'm pretty good at locating missing things. Not everything, but I locate them a lot, but I've never been able to really locate a murder weapon before. So that's what we're going to try to do tonight. I'm not really sure how it's going to go. If it goes well, you'll see this video. If it doesn't, you won't. So with that being said, just to remind you guys, you will see animals around here. I am going to be bringing on Vanished and Forgotten as part of the Helping Me channel. Her energy helps me, and there's nothing to really validate. She's just going to be saying yes to help me along so that I don't sit there and question. It's just something about having her as a sitter to talk to that brings in the information more clear. Just like I'm giving someone a reading. So that's why we decided to do it that way. That's the way that this works best. So all the ways to support me are down below in the description box. I do have merchandise. This is the Vibe with Your Tribe sweatshirt. And then the back, you can't really, I don't know how to show you it, but you can check it out on the website. Again, everything is down below. We have Patreon if you want to become a member, which I do need to try to think of some things to do for the members. So thank you for being very patient with me on that. This is very draining work, and so sometimes I get a little too busy and a little too tired. So just to remind you guys how I work, information can be past, present, or future, symbolic, or have multiple meanings. Spirit will sometimes use... Sorry, Libby just almost fell off the table. Spirit will sometimes use my reference and or experiences to try to explain, what they're trying to show me. So they'll use, things that maybe I've seen, things that maybe have happened in my life, just references, ways that I can relate to something to show me what they're trying to say. I do get interconnects, so not everything may fit here, but most of the time it does. It's getting better, but Spirit still does that. I truly believe that in the Idaho 4 that I did pick up the other serial killer in Mexico, in Tijuana, because the way that my interconnects work has to do with similarities. They're calling him a Ted Bundy as well. So in my opinion, this guy has a Ted Bundy energy, and he wanted to be like him, and he looks like him a little bit, like a Wish version. And then, this other guy acts more like him, has more of his style, right? So I think that Ted even talked about him a little bit when I channel him, because of that Angela, I guess, is a victim of his. So whatever is not fitting into the, along with BK, the alleged person that did this, it's going to probably fit him because of the timing and the similarities and the Ted Bundy connection and all of that. I really do think that he might be the one, and I plan to try to find out. If I'm not too tired after this, we may do it after, but I think he's the guy I saw walking up the sidewalk with the jeans and the boots and the jacket and the hat, because I think it matches. I think he's a stockier guy because he's also stockier. And I think that he also may be the one in the trailer or something. So like I said, interconnects do happen because of that reason. And I think I've actually picked stuff up on him already. Because when I look at him, I'm like, okay, that's the other energy I was feeling. And so again, another reason why I don't want to do live readings anymore is because I seem to pick up things in the chat. If you go back to Ethan's reading, like around the time that I mentioned Hannah, Tammy told me that someone else mentioned it in the chat a few minutes before that. I'm not watching the chat, so I don't know and I don't see it. And then there was a few other things that I ended up mentioning a few minutes after it was mentioned in the chat. So we're finding out that I do have a little bit of a mind reading thing. That is an Aquarius trait. So I do it with them all the time, but I didn't realize it would happen with the chat. So I think maybe that's the confusion with that reading. And I think maybe also that Ethan, he was more like collateral damage, and this wasn't really his situation. So I think he kind of said what had happened to him, and then he kind of got a little frustrated with me maybe and left because I was picking up on other things that weren't relevant. Not only that, but that was happening on around the case at the same time. So as I tell you guys, I can pick up things going on around the case. So the fact that that was being talked about in the collective and it was going on around it and everybody was thinking about that, that's another reason I could have picked it up, as well as kind of bringing the bullying situation in, because it turned out that, that BK was bullied allegedly, and he kind of became a bully. So it could be another reference. So there's a few reasons why I may have got that. And again, I never pointed fingers. I was as dumbfounded as you guys, because it didn't match my my previous readings. I didn't understand really why I was getting it. And I was laughing about the case closed because it was like that's too easy. It was one of those things that was too easy. So I was kind of laughing it off like, you got to be kidding me. So again, sometimes I don't know why I get what I get. Things are perceived as I perceive them, but I try not to point any fingers. Because like, for instance, the whole car, like the whole listening to the tire, changing the tire gun, that could have been when they got their tires changed when he was when he was traveling. But I don't know about this other serial killer yet, so it may connect there, because it seemed to kind of, I kept seeing a mechanic. Now that means that could mean that I'm seeing the situation as, they did see a mechanic, they did have their tires on, things like that, but I perceived it as something else that it wasn't. So I will try not to, I guess I'll try to kind of change up kind of guessing what it means and just put out what I give. But sometimes I do say that so that people can kind of understand how I work, how maybe I'm perceiving the information or what it could mean. I'm just used to doing that because I think sometimes people don't understand how this works. Also, everything I say in the beginning of my videos is for a reason. It's usually very much channeled. So before we get started here, again, this is about puzzle pieces. It's how I perceive the information. All this is alleged. It's not factual information. It's for entertainment purposes only, and it is only psychic medium impressions. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. In the court of law, we have to remember that. Although, everything looks like it's going this direction, everyone's still innocent until it's proven otherwise. And again, I don't know what I'm going to get right now, and I don't know what I'm going to see. So viewer discretion is advised. I am going to be trying to get into BK's mind, figure out where the murder weapon is, and see anything else that I can see about this case. So wish me luck on that. I'm going to go ahead and bring on Tammy, or Vanished and Forgotten. I always call you by your name. Okay, how are you? I can't hear you.
How are you?
There you are. I'm good. I guess. I don't know. We're going to see how this goes. This is like new. I'm trying to push myself a little bit, and see kind of what we can come up with.
Okay.
Let me find his picture. I'm sure it won't be hard.
Right.
And just to remind everybody, like, I only give what I get. So I know that stuff may come out that has been released. I'll only say it if I get it. And remember that I probably got most of it back in the day. I probably got most of it when we first did the readings. I've done a lot of readings on this. So keep that in mind. Stuff just may repeat or whatever from my readings, but I'll only get it if it comes to my mind, because I know I hear that a lot. Well, that was released yesterday. I don't sit and research, guys. Seriously, I don't. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm going to look at our suspect, and what I'm going to try to do first is I'm going to try to get kind of in his mind. I want to see kind of why he did what he did. any other things that I can get, I want to try to put myself in his situation, I guess. I don't know. A lot of people probably wouldn't do that, but as we know, if I channel deceased serial killers, I have no problem doing this.
Yeah.
So like, you know, me and TB on the other side, we're like buddies now. So I have no problem. I have no problem with it. I'm going to try to see exactly what I can see from him. Maybe through his eyes or maybe his thought processes, because there's things that I have questions about, like, that aren't making sense to me if he's so smart.
Right.
And then I want to also try and see if I can locate the murder weapon now, or the red rum weapon. I don't know what you would call it, the knife. So the one, and I want to kind of maybe see where he got it at. Now, I always felt it was kind of handed down, but I don't know. We're just going to have to see how that goes. I could have misperceived that. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I am human. I am not a mystical being. So I don't know that everything, there's some things that I get and I find out later it meant something else when I thought it meant another thing. And I'm like, man, okay, I misunderstood what they were trying to say. And you know, I also felt it was buried somewhere. Maybe at the time that I did the reading, it's very possible he could have dug it up and took it somewhere else. So that's what I want to try to see. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to just see what comes in, I guess, by looking at it, and we'll see how it goes. And again, if this doesn't turn out good, then you'll never see the video, so don't have to worry about it. And keep in mind, I can see them at any time in their life. So I think they're going to take me back to his childhood. Kind of where this all started. But interesting enough, they're starting with what Ted showed me with the brain. They're showing me the brain and the electricity through the brain. So that tells me wired wrong, something with, you know, the way that the brain works, which, you know, we had said that in Ted Bundy's reading, but we're in the reading where I channeled him for this. So they're starting off with that to try to tell me that maybe he was born this way. And then there was things in his life that happened that made him kind of turn this way. You know what I mean? Like go ahead and act on his feelings and things like that. So that would be a psychopath trait from what I understand, being born this way. So I'm guessing that's what they're trying to tell me, is that he was born with something in his brain. You know, it would be interesting, and I know they've probably done studies on it, but it would be interesting to study the, you know, psychopath's brain to see how the difference in the way that they think and the way that we think. Because if someone's born this way, I think it's hard for them to cope. And then I think that they go through things in their life that kind of exasperates their feelings or makes them go to a certain direction. So,
right.
I mean, it comes across as like so the way that they're showing me, like, he was kind of a shy kid, you know, like kind of shy. I feel like he was kind of awkward. I know that we're saying like he was kind of chubby, and again, I think I picked that up before where I was saying like he was stocky, but that could be the other serial killer, but I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell in vision. So it's almost like I'm getting he was very insecure in his childhood. You know what I mean? And so that's where it's coming across is insecurity.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know if he was pushed around or like this came in the auto write about him being bullied or the bullying situation coming up. So like I said, things will repeat as they show me. It's not like I didn't say it before, but I see him being pushed around and I see kids making fun of him. Now they show me a vision of him being pointed at and like laughed at. So there's something maybe he looked awkward. Maybe he was a funny looking kid, or he was just like kind of weird. And I feel, kids can be really cruel.
Yes.
And so I feel like that they were pointing at him and laughing at him and making fun of his weight, making fun of his looks, making fun of the way he was. Like, I feel very much of an outcast or a loner type deal with him, as I always have. It kind of comes across as, you know, he didn't fit in. And so I feel like there was something that switched where he said, okay, maybe I'm going to be the bully now. Maybe I'm going to switch the pages here.
Right.
You know, I'm going to turn things around on them, and I'm going to bully them so they can't bully me.
Yep.
Is the way that it comes across. And also, like, he didn't, I think a big part of, like, again, this comes across like they keep showing me the whole grievance of the shooters, the school shooters. Like, that's something that always comes in, and I think it's just trying to show me how bullies take things out on people that may have bullied them, and not saying that these people, that, you know, the 4 victims bullied them, but I think they did snub their noses at him. And I think it was finally like, I'm going to take action in a bigger way. But shows me that he was ready to turn the tables, is what I hear.
Yeah.
He was tired of being bullied and made fun of, so he turned the tables. And I think he also acted on some psychopathic tendencies. It's almost like that lay dormant for a little while, like it does kind of in some kids, not all, because we see some psychopath children that they start showing signs at an early age, you know, but I think this kind of hit later. I think it had something to do with, you know, the bullying and that aspect that kind of pulled it out of him, which there may have been certain signs, but I feel like he hid things really well. Like, I don't feel it's like, you know, how you see some kids that they're just, you can tell they're a psychopath because of the way that they act. I don't think he did that. I think, you know, for his childhood, he mostly seemed like a normal child until he started, maybe something shifted, you know, there's some kind of shift there, or some kind of something that happened to shift his thoughts and whatnot. And so then it also comes across as having these desires as he gets into a young adult and a teenager, and having these desires for women or girls, and them rejecting him, and not like he'd ask, it's almost like he's asking girls on dates or asking them to the dance, and they kind of laugh at him, and they kind of don't take him serious, and they kind of just like, there's something off about him that people just don't like putting off, but he doesn't really understand why. So he takes the rejection to heart, and I think it also helps things build up in him.
Yeah.
And I think maybe part of the reason why he started losing weight and started using drugs was because he wanted to, I think the drug part is partly because he wanted to, you know, how a lot of psychopaths and people that are, that really kind of struggle with things or have mental illness, how they turn to drugs and alcohol. It's that kind of thing. Like, I don't know if he wanted to quiet his psychopathic tendencies. Like, he started having those thoughts and things like that. And also part of it was to lose weight, because I felt like he wanted to lose weight and he thought that was an easy way to do it. But so it comes in as like both things. And also there's I hear personality disorder, which obviously psychopaths have, but there's something with I swear, like, I don't know if he's schizophrenic or he's gonna say he's schizophrenic. There's something, or like the voices told him to do it or something, because I've picked that up before, and I kind of feel that with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like I hear, so sometimes when I pick that up with someone, I'll hear whispers in my head, and that's kind of what I'm feeling, and I'm getting chills with that. So that's my sign of truth, that he's got whispers in his head. And also this all kind, the OCD thing, and I've said that before, so it's just coming in again, where things have to be a certain way. Like, I have a little bit of OCD, but it's not to his extent. Like, we can all have kind of like little pieces, like little parts of it. Like, I can't stand a cracked screen on my phone, or certain things have to be a certain way, but other things don't. Like, that's how it is for me. But there are some people that have OCD where everything has to be like a certain way. They show me the flipping on and off of the light switch. Now that is my symbol for OCD. I don't know if he actually does it. Okay. But there's something with 3. I don't know if he has to do something 3 times, but there's something with the 3, but it comes in after the flipping on and off of the light switch. And I'm getting chills with that as well. There's also something with, like, again, his closet. They took me back to his closet. Okay. So I feel like everything is neat and tidy. The shoes are all right there. The clothes are all right there. I don't know if he actually irons or has to fold things a certain way, but that comes up as well. It's kind of weird because they're taking me to, again, the Big Bang Theory in Sheldon. If you guys have ever seen that, like how kind of he is about certain things, like how he folds his clothes and stuff. It's kind of weird because I just started watching that, like, again, this last couple months. And they keep referencing, because Sheldon, he's not like this guy, not a psychopath or anything, but it's more of like they're trying to show me the OCD part of him, like how he has to like fold things a certain way and all of that, or has to have things a certain way, I guess. I don't know. But so that's why I'm wondering if they're even going to find any residual evidence in his house, because I feel like he's kind of a neat freak. And I also feel like he's constantly cleaning or constantly doing stuff. And I don't know if he was still using at this time. I want to say he was, because that came in the reading. And yes, I can get past, but I think it's something where his psychopathic tendencies kind of got worse. Yeah. And I don't know if the drugs were like a Band-Aid or if he felt like I don't know, with heroin, does it like make you go? Because there's a feeling like I don't know, he has nightmares when he sleeps, but he doesn't like to sleep. There's something about doesn't like to sleep. So I don't know if he has nightmares when he sleeps, but I feel like he just likes to be up. It's really weird. It's kind of really weird how that's coming in. Like, I know it like came out that he was like vacuuming and all that. I am like seeing him doing that. So, and that's coming to me. That's not from something I saw, but it's almost like I see him wiping stuff down and all of that too. And I think like he was really like, as far as his clothes were concerned with this, I still go back to like he threw him in the trash can. Yeah. Like he put him in a couple of bags and like threw him in the trash can. I don't know if they have rollout services there or whatever, but you know, I even think in a way he was OCD kind of with going into the house. What comes across, and it was weird because I was just talking to someone about this. I think the reason why he picked that day is because he had to do it. And Charles Manson came in the auto write, the last auto write I did. He had to do it on his birthday, but he couldn't do it on the 12th because no one was home. So I feel like that's why he picked the 13th. And regardless of if Ethan was there and Ethan wasn't a target, he had to do it that day. That was the day he had planned, and nothing was going to break his plans. Plus the 13th is kind of a, unlucky number, right? Yeah. So, and you get that in a lot of horror movies and things like that. So that's my feeling on it as to why that day. I mean, I think he thought about other days, like Halloween comes to mind. But there was something that happened that threw everything off. I don't know if they had a Halloween party or something, or there was a lot of people in the house, but there's something that threw off that day. But literally, like, everything that has come in is kind of coming in again about stalking, lurking in the shadows, like always being, he always had to be, he planned this, like, so he thought he planned it so well. And that's why it throws me off why he kept the car a little bit. So I want to try to get into that as well, because like, I feel like he planned this so well, as far as like he stalked him for weeks, but I kind of want to get into like what kind of flipped him. There's something, I'm telling you, there's something with one of the girls where this has come in since the beginning. They snubbed their nose at him. There's something that they said or did where they didn't want to include him anymore. I don't know if they were originally talking to him, but they snubbed their nose or kind of kicked him out of, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, or he's like weird, or there's some kind of feeling like that in it. But I feel he had already had this in his mind that like he's obsessed. Like I always get that show Obsession Dark Desires, because obsession makes you do really weird things instead of, you know, they always end up trying to red rum the person they're obsessed with, I guess, to get rid of that obsession. So it's almost because it becomes an obsessive feeling to where, and because he's OCD, that's fueling the obsession. Okay, so it's almost like he had to do things that night for that reason. He had to do it because otherwise he was going to have to wait another year. Because there's some, again, it comes back to, I feel, and what I've said since the beginning of him studying serial killers and him studying horror movies, I think he was trying to do a mix of the serial killers. I think he was trying to take a little bit of each playbook and put it into his own spin. And I am seriously wondering if this kind of feels like a cat and mouse game. I feel like this is an ego thing. And I feel like there is something up his sleeve that we are not aware of yet. He is going to try to outsmart the legal system or something like that. Either something with a speedy trial, something with you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, try to get things thrown out, say that he's innocent and play stupid, or it maybe even be something where I'm going to take a psychological exam and they're going to have to, you know, they're not going to find me guilty because I know I'm schizophrenic or whatever. There's something up his sleeve, because there's like I keep getting this weird feeling like he almost wanted to get caught. Like I think originally maybe he didn't think he was going to get caught, but or I don't really know, because it came in before, like he didn't think he was going to get caught, or there was something about that. But it's weird, the energy feels different. I don't know if all of a sudden I don't really know. Like I can't really explain the feeling that I'm getting, but it's almost like, why wouldn't you ditch your car? Like people are saying, like, that's a rolling crime scene. Why wouldn't you ditch your car? Because now it's on video and everybody's seeing it. And the thing is I think that he knew that, and he was laughing, like, here I am. Like, I'm hearing that. Like, I see him sitting in front of a computer screen and he's laughing, and it's like, here I am.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like he is trying to be, you know, I go back to Bundy again, and how Bundy tried to be in the court system, how he defended himself. Not saying this guy's going to defend himself because he doesn't know the law like Bundy did. This is more like how Bundy tried to manipulate. I think he's going to try to manipulate. He's trying to be a manipulator. And I think master manipulator came up somewhere, but I kind of get that with him. Like he's he's going to try to manipulate something, the system, or I think he's already manipulated his lawyer, honestly. And I think he's really good at hiding who he is. And that's why he's got along so far with everybody being like, I am shocked, you know? And I think that came in one of the readings where I had said, or at Spirit had said, that this is going to be the person that you least expect. This is going to be a surprise, because he doesn't come off as this type of person, like a little weird and a little awkward and a little to himself, but not one that he would ever really show too much of his rage. Like he had this rage boiling inside of him. And I think one day he just wanted to take it out. He picked them he'd wanted to do this for a long time. Because studying these serial killers and studying these horror movies, it's like it was a fantasy. It was something that, and I wouldn't be surprised if he played video games where there's a lot of red rum going on, because that's what I see is like shooting games and things like that, hand-to-hand combat games, stuff like that. And I also think that's why partly maybe at one point he wanted to be a cop, which I also had said before, but it's maybe he thought he would even get away with it more if he was a cop. There's something about again, he and the same thing is he feels like he's authority now. Like he wanted to be kind of an authority to maybe even get back at people. I don't know. It comes across kind of weird about his whole reason for wanting to be a cop and stuff like that. Like I feel like he has his own idea of what justice is, but I mean, like I said, I feel like I wonder what his IQ is, because I feel like it's pretty high, and I feel like this is all part of a game or part of something that we're not even aware of what it is.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason he kept the car.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like normally people would go burn that car or ditch that car or something. But it's almost like he left breadcrumbs. And I think that's why he went online. I really feel like he was in some of these, you know, and I think I said that before, like he's boasting.
Yep.
He's boasting in the like the online chats and stuff like that. Like I think that came in earlier readings, and it's almost like he did that on purpose.
Yeah.
As like he knew all the details and he wanted everybody to know them too.
Yep.
But so it's just a psychopathic trait. Like he did that on purpose, and he knew it was going to leave breadcrumbs. So and also I think this is like an ego fame kind of thing. Like he wants to go down as one of these people that went in this house, took their power away, did this to these people, and he wants to be known as that. He doesn't care at this point if he's looked at as, you know, someone that did this.
Right.
He doesn't care about that. This is, I keep seeing Ted Bundy again. They keep showing me him. It's like this is going to be, he wants it to be like that. Yeah. Like he wants it to be like, you know how Ted Bundy became famous and all girls wanted Ted Bundy? Like that's what he wants to be.
Yeah.
And so I really think he idolized the guy, honestly.
Yeah.
And like, again, that came in earlier readings, and maybe he saw, well, we've got the same eyes and the kind of the same hair, and we kind of look similar. I could be another Ted Bundy, like that kind of thing. But it comes across as, you know, maybe I can get girls this way. You know, they went out, they liked him. Like maybe he thinks he's more smooth than he is. You know what I mean? Like he's got this whole thing going on in his head, and I don't think it's like we probably would think like you're just crazy for thinking that, but to him it feels real. Like it's almost like he's replaying, because I keep going back to like Ted Bundy trial, and how everybody was like he had literal fans like writing him in jail and stuff like that, and how the cops like wanted to analyze him, and everybody wanted to analyze him. Like that's what he wants.
Okay.
Because I feel like I said, he left breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Because I felt like he went in with like protective stuff on. I don't know, because, you know, they're saying that they found his DNA. So I'm wondering if he left it on purpose.
Could have.
Or maybe he didn't realize it. I don't know. Or maybe he thought it was going to be mixed. No, because he would know, like studying serial killers and stuff, like you're going to know if like you're going to leave DNA behind. You know what I mean? Nowadays, because back in the day, there wasn't any with Ted Bundy. That's why he got away with it for so long. But if there would have been, he wouldn't have gotten away with it for so long. This guy wants to be known for committing this crime. This is a big ego trip for him.
Okay.
And again, I go back to the Night Stalker, and I go back to the feeling of, haha, I went in and I took their power away. I went in and I did this.
Yeah.
And I was smooth and I was slick, and I pulled another Ted Bundy. Like that's how it comes across.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is always, it's always kind of crossed that way. But this is just what I'm picking up from looking at his picture, which I didn't think I was going to get this much, honestly, because I've tried to look at perps before and I haven't pulled all this stuff before.
Right.
But I think it might be easier because they've already given me most of it. Yeah. And so this is going to be really interesting, because I don't know, like I said, I don't know if he's going to try to manipulate things. I definitely feel like there will be some sort of, and I've said this before on my live, like there's going to be some sort of psychological exam, which I know that's obvious, but it's, I mean, I feel like he's already, like he fooled his parents for a long time. He's fooled his lawyer. I feel he fooled a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's just good at fooling people. I mean, he still comes across as like he has a mean streak and he has like a temper. And so he used all that rage that he built up to go and basically do all of this. Because again, so they take me back to the same vision they kind of have before, where he's in there and he's committing the act and he's calling them names as he's doing it. You effing B, you effing C, you effing W, you know, how dare you reject me? Like, he is saying all that while he's doing it.
Okay.
So I don't know. There's some kind of rejection that went on here that where I don't know if one of the girls let him on and then rejected him, and he was just like, that was the breaking point. Because I feel like there's some kind of communication, and it might have just been in passing. It might have, it might have not have been something like, but I feel like he really got, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, he had delusions. I get the word delusions. Like, he had delusions about maybe the relationship with them or something. Right. Or and maybe he thought, like, I think he had been so rejected by so many girls that this was just the final straw. But I think there's, like, again, the obsession with them was different than before. And he had already been in the midst of like, studying all these serial killers. So I think it just gave him ideas. You know what I mean? Like, I think it gave him ideas. And again, I think it's like a mix, because that's why I think I keep picking up serial killer names like Kemper and Ted Bundy and Night Stalker and Charles Manson. Like, it's all, there's a mix of like every little bit somehow, some way. And he might have been there for like a party or something. I don't know. Like, I feel like he's around them prior to this. So again, I don't know if it's like, maybe he was a customer, because that came in too. Yeah. Like, tipping one of the girls or something like that. But I get like really big online stuff, like watching the girls online or some kind of correspondence or something like that. Yeah. To where he built up some kind of delusions. And the delusions turned into obsession. Yeah. And then again, there's all this emotions around it. Not only is it rejection and it's anger and it's, there's an underlying sexual thing to it, but also it's more like, how dare you? Like, grievance or something like that. Yeah. So I hear the word payback too. Like, he thought he was like, I feel like he picked them. There's something about, like, again, I get the two girls, so I can't tell if one was the target. I really think that all three of the girls were in a way a target. He was trying to be like Ted Bundy, as Ted had said in his reading that he took a play out of his playbook. Like, I think that was always part of the plan. Yeah. Do I think he was stalking at the bar at night? I do. I think he was stalking at the bar. I think he was stalking at the food truck. I think he stalked them for like weeks on end. Either if he wasn't following them, he was following them online. Like, I think he had their locations or something. And I really feel, and this has all come in before, but I really feel like he was like OCD about that too. Yeah. Like, the OCD and the obsession kind of come in really strong with him. Like, he had to do things a certain way and at a certain time and all of that. Like, Ethan was collateral damage because he happened to be there that weekend. He had to do it that weekend. So he wasn't going to wait for Ethan to leave. And plus, Ethan was a challenge. And also there's jealousy there. Ethan had what I didn't have. Right. Ethan had a girlfriend. Ethan was popular. Ethan was an all-American boy. I'm not that. Yeah. So I think it was just like, okay, this will work. Kind of thing. Kind of feeling.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Cause see, I really feel like he was like, I don't know, I either put clothes over what he had on or he changed. Or there, and again, there's something with his shoes. Like he either covered them up or changed them. Cause I always saw that feeling of him carrying his shoes like outside.
Yeah.
Like, I just wonder if he was like I don't know. Because I always see him with a mask and then I see him pull it up so like they could see who he is before he does what he does. Like he wants them to know that he's the one doing this. And then there's some times where I see with a hoodie and I can see like the side of his face.
Okay.
So I don't really know. Yeah, the chokehold is kind of strong with Ethan. And I wonder if I'm getting like a stabbing feeling in my back or by my spine, my kidneys, where I'm being like this and then getting stabbed through the back. So I'd be curious, and I don't know if after that, you know, he stabbed him anywhere else, but that's kind of the feeling I'm getting. Or in the back and the side kind of is what comes in. While I have him like this to where he can't move or something like I'm choking him to where he can't breathe, he can't really fight back. Like that's kind of what I've always gotten there.
Right.
And again, I you know, we know now he has maneuvers, but that had been said before. And also I think a big part of him running and getting in all that was so he would be strong enough to carry this out, because this was a plan when he started like studying serial killers and stuff. Like he wanted to be like that.
Yeah.
And it just, he found the right people and the right situation and everything to do that.
Yeah.
Like I hear the word famous. He wanted to be known as a famous, and it's not even about the amount of victims like Ted Bundy or whatever. It's not even about that. It's about how he was able to go in and do what he did at night, and no one know or hear anything, and the gruesomeness of it and everything. Like there's certain things that he wanted talked about, and he knew that this was going to make it a high profile case. So it's the fame from the high profile case. He doesn't care if people hate him because he feels like there's some that are like him that are going to love him.
Okay.
In his delusions.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that can happen, but in his delusions, he wants to be how Ted was when Ted went to jail.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's almost like, I think there's maybe the thing I'm feeling about not getting caught, maybe he thought maybe they weren't onto him for a little bit and he didn't think it caught, but then and I think actually going there for Christmas, that was all on the plan too. Like this was all timed out to where it wouldn't be weird if he drove across country to go see his parents at this time.
Right.
Like that's why he didn't leave before, because I feel like if he left before, everybody would think something was weird. But if he left Christmas break, it's not a big deal. And he's going to his parents aren't going to think anything of it. You know what I mean? And I think having his dad go with him one last time is he knew he was going to go to jail. He knew he was going to go to jail, and he knew something else might happen later on. And so I think it was a bonding time between him and dad.
Yeah.
And that's why he had it. But see, his dad didn't know, but he did.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I think he knew eventually he'd be caught, but I just think for a little bit he was thinking, well, maybe I'll get away with it kind of thing.
Right.
Because, it was all over the news that there's no suspects and everything. And I think that maybe got his ego going, well, and then he started thinking, well, maybe I need to do it again or something like that, like to gain more attention. Like, I really think he wanted to get caught. So I want to try. I'm getting a lot on him, even though a lot of it is repeated. It's just like a lot's coming in. I want to try to get where like maybe he did with the knife, because the knife feels like a memorial, like because like I said in one of the readings, I feel like he washed it off there. So if you're going to get rid of a knife, you're not going to clean it and wash it off. I feel like it was like this thing that he kept as part of this. Like he could look at it and relive it if he wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I think it was kept close to him.
Okay.
Like he could have thrown it anywhere out away, all right, in the river, in wherever. But for some reason, I want to go to the parents' house. I really think he took it with him to the parents' house. It's either got to be in the house or on that property. I want to go outside. It's weird because I know Lizzie sent me something about the gnomes. I keep seeing those for some reason. It's really weird.
Okay.
And again, I think he maybe even left breadcrumbs to that, but like, I'm like, why would you see, like, to me, in my logical mind, it doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't you just like throw it in the river or something on your way where they're never going to find it? Right. And also known that you're like being watched. Because I don't know if he knew that, but maybe he had an idea.
You're right. Yeah.
And that's why he called the dad. But see, since the beginning, I've always gotten like the single tree, which their house does have.
Yeah.
It just came in kind of different before. You would notice if anybody's like dug a hole there. So that kind of doesn't, because there's grass and stuff.
Right.
So I'm wondering if they were showing me that just to kind of show me the like that house. Like if I saw that tree, I don't know. Yeah, why would he take the knife with him? It's like, I think it was like a memento, or it became special, or something like that. I see him giving money for it. So maybe he did buy it. Maybe he had planned to. I don't know. I don't know where the passing down of the knife comes in before. Unless he was given a different one or something at some time. But I keep getting, I'm sure the cops have done this, metal detectors. Because I keep seeing like metal detectors. Why do I keep picking up those stupid gnomes? I wonder if I would have picked that up without seeing that, you know? Because I'm always straight up about what I see, you guys. And again, I won't get it. I won't say it unless I get it. And I keep seeing stupid gnomes. Like the gnomes where they're placed at.
Okay.
But if he's being watched, I don't see him putting him there unless it's just to validate the house. Like it feels like they would be more in the back of the yard or something, like somewhere where no one could see.
Right.
I'd be curious if his parents know of any hiding spots in that house from when he was a kid. Yeah. Because the one thing I'm getting is like, so I don't know, the gnomes could be just because that trying to tell me that house. I'd be curious if there's not like a loose floorboard or a loose something that maybe he had like in his room. Cause I wonder, when I used to go back to my parents' house, I always stayed in the room I grew up in. And I'm wondering if he didn't stay in the room he grew up in, like when he was there. And there's not like a special hiding place or something that he has. Right. I mean, I've always kind of got there's something in the closet in a box, but I don't think that's I don't know what that is. It's got to be something because it always comes in. So, because this became precious to him.
I bet.
But there's blood. I think even though maybe he cleaned it, like, I think there's blood like underneath the hand, the guard of the handle underneath that, because they keep showing me the guard and then they take me underneath it, or maybe even on the top, but definitely underneath it.
Yeah.
Because even though I think he thought he washed it all off, like it's kind of impossible to get it all off when he has like the guard. I think if they took off the guard, if there's a way to do that, I don't know. I just see like there being something underneath the guard. And we don't know. I mean, the cops could have the murder weapon. We don't even know that, for all we know.
Right. Yeah.
They might just not be even telling us that. Because I keep going into his, it's like weird. Sorry if I say that because it just sometimes pops in my head that it is. Like if I can't make sense of something, that's when I usually say it. So I wonder if the gnomes are just like to tell me that house or that residence.
Right.
Because I keep wanting to go maybe in the room that he stayed in, and I keep getting something about maybe a loose floorboard or maybe a loose something. There's like some kind of hiding place that maybe he had in his old bedroom or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you know how sometimes kids have like little hiding places for stuff.
Yeah.
Like I would think it's wherever he liked to hide things. Because I feel like he did hide things. I don't know. That's the way it kind of comes across. But I keep going into his room and there's like I don't know if there's a rug on it or if that's just symbolic. And there's like I want to be curious at what kind of floorboards this thing has. Like I feel like he kept it like really close to him ever since. Like this.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think he didn't get rid of it, because this is what he committed the crime with, and this is like almost like a memento, like, so it wasn't like just trash to throw away. You know what I mean? With him being obsessive like that,
yeah,
I can see why he would keep it.
Yeah.
Maybe even the car. Like I could see why he could keep the car. Like maybe he had an attachment to it because it was part of the crime. Like, it's gotta, like, I don't know. I can't get away from some kind of loose floorboard or something in his room or something.
Okay.
I mean, it would depend on what kind of flooring he has or anything, but.
Right.
Unless it's symbolic for just like a hideaway type.
Could be.
Spot or something. I mean, you would think it would be like no murder weapon, like you guys don't have that on me kind of thing. You know, you would think it would be like that's what he would think. But again, I don't think he has a plan to get off really, other than like he's going to try to manipulate certain things. But again, he wants to like be famous for this. Like that's how it comes across.
Yeah.
He wants books written about him and stuff. Which is weird because I got the books before that one time, remember?
Yeah.
And actually, I think that maybe him and the girls, maybe that's something they talked about, true crime.
Could be, yeah.
Because they were into it as well, and I remember that came in at one time, and so maybe it's possible like they were like maybe start chatting on some boards or something about true crime, depending on where if they were part of any like chat boards for true crime. I don't know, because he like wants books written about him and stuff. Like B2K, like BT, like I think he took that class with that girl with that lady on purpose. Obviously, like maybe that's one reason he chose Washington was to take a class with that because of her thing with serial killers. And I think he thinks that by taking her class now that maybe she'll write a book on him.
Yeah,
like she did, like she did others or B2K or whatever. Because I don't know. Every time I want to find the knife, I just go to his room and I keep getting like a hiding spot.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know why they're showing me the fireplace either. I have no idea. But you know how my like finding things works. I can get stuff like around, or there's usually a significance for it.
Yep.
Because like I don't think he burned it or anything. I'm not really sure why I'm getting that.
Well, sometimes you can move the blocks in the fireplace and put something back there, and then put the
That's
blocks
true.
back.
And it's a big house. I wonder. I don't think he would have like a fireplace in his room though. Like I don't know. I'd be getting a fireplace. I don't know unless it's like his room is close to the fireplace or something, depending on where his room is.
Right.
You know, like sometimes like living room's right there or a room's right there with fireplace, and then you go in another room. You know what I mean? It could be something about that.
Yeah.
But I keep getting like, yeah, like a hideaway, like some kind of hideaway at that house. I keep getting his room, but I get the gnomes too. But I don't think like he went outside and like maybe
Sometimes.
he did put it in the gnomes. I mean,
yeah, because the gnome.
I don't know if he thought that he was being watched. I don't see him going out front and just like, oh, let me put the knife here. You know what I mean? Because they were watching him and they would know right away. You know what I mean? So that's why that kind of doesn't make sense to me, because I'm sure they would have checked it because they were surveilling him. So just like he surveilled them, he surveilled. I can never say that word, but it's got to be in the house somewhere in like a hideaway. I hear the word lockbox. Did I get that before? Why does it sound familiar?
I'm not sure.
I don't either. I don't know. It seems like I got that before or something. But I hear box. I don't know if that means he put it in a lockbox first or something, or it's in its case. No, because I don't know. I don't really know. Or if there's something in a lockbox somewhere else, or why I'm like getting a bank right now. Like that kind of doesn't make sense. Because you know how people have like.
Yep. Yes.
Like those boxes in the banks.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know if he would do something like that though, unless it's something else. Like who knows? Sometimes I try to find one pair of keys and I find a bunch of other stuff. I mean, I don't know what could possibly be in that lockbox at the bank, but it feels like there's something there because they're showing me a huge bank right now. It's almost like it's like I don't know if it is Bank of America or it just reminds me of it, but it's I keep getting that for some reason, like weirdly.
Huh.
Like maybe he has a lockbox there. Oh, like or his parents do or something. There's something. I don't understand it. I don't know. Because I also keep going in his room.
Okay.
It's almost like his room. I wonder if his room is almost the same as it was or something.
Probably if he's OCD.
Yeah, because I see like this bed made and it's got like a blue comforter on the top of it. And I see like a nightstand. I think I don't know. It's almost like they tell me like false drawer. And again, that could be symbolic for like a hide spot.
Yeah.
I don't see him like it would be smart to throw it out somewhere on the way, but I just don't see him doing that.
Okay.
I feel like he wanted to keep like the knife was like his friend. Like it was like a memento of his, you know, of what he did, and he wasn't going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it comes across.
Okay.
I wonder if there's like a false. I wonder if he could like build stuff because I know like he drew things out. I wonder if he had made like a false like drawer or fault like something. You know what I mean? Like where you could put stuff. Because I also keep seeing one of the girls' hair. Like a piece of their hair. I know I got that before.
Right.
But it's almost like it's in the same place with the knife or something. Like there's like where he kept those mementos at or something. But that's why I'm thinking, like, I don't, if he left to go, I think he would have taken it with him. I don't think he left it in his apartment. I get this feeling like maybe he thought he was never going to come back to his apartment.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like him leaving and not returning, but not making it look obvious like he didn't take his stuff and move or anything.
Right.
So I feel like whatever he had, like maybe he took with him or something. I don't know. Yeah. Like, I don't think he would have left any kind of memento like this. Like, this is this important to him, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what this means. So they're giving me different references for it to, I think, to try to help me understand. But okay, you know how sometimes, like when people play a video game, but they see things like from the person that's playing, like point of view, or if like you're a cop and you're seeing it from your, I guess it would be like a body cam or something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know if that's what they're trying to say or not. I hear tactical, so I'm curious if he did wear tactical gear. Wannabe cop tactical gear.
Yeah.
And 511 fits because everybody told me that. I am just wondering.
Yeah.
You know, because he wanted to be a cop at one time, if he actually had tactical gear or something like that. You know what I mean? Because you have the grievance, you know, the school shooters, they have tactical gear sometimes. Like they go and they buy the tactical gear and stuff. So that kind of makes me wonder, you know, if they don't have something like that.
Yeah. Well, if he was a security guard, couldn't, you know, they...
Yeah, I wonder if he still has that stuff. I don't know if they have body cams, though. Like, I don't know if that's what they're trying to tell me. It's weird. I'm, like, seeing it from his point of view, but it's lower. Okay, yeah. Yep. Like here, like here, like, you know, in a video game where you wouldn't see it, you would see it from, like, a lower viewpoint. And it's kind of weird. Yeah. Sorry, saying it's kind of weird, but it is to me. So again,
maybe he recorded it.
Possible, I guess. That might be what they're trying to say. I kind of don't want to guess what, you know, I'm just gonna put what I got, and that's what I'm seeing. And
okay, sorry.
No, you're all good. That's
the first thing that made me, like, that's the first thing.
I mean, that's kind of what's making, like, yeah, but that would be so stupid. Like, I really feel like they have evidence on him. Right. But it's almost like he did it on purpose.
Yeah. I believe it. Or I agree. Yeah.
Like he wanted them to get him for this. But if he didn't, he was going to go do it somewhere else or something. You know, like there's that energy around it. Like if he got away with it once, he'd do it again kind of thing. If they didn't catch him. Yeah. Because he still wanted to be a serial killer. But again, he reminds me of Kemper, how Kemper wanted to take on more than one. It was like a challenge. Yeah. And to challenge himself to, you know, taking more than one life at a time. Almost like a mass red rummer. Right. I don't know. I feel like it's got to be at the parents' house. Okay. Which is like, sounds stupid. Like, why would you take it there? And they might even have it. We just don't know. Right. Yeah. Because, I mean, I think they're going to look in every nook and cranny. They already got so much evidence against him, but they just want this to be like a really good case. Yeah. Like, I think it's going to be mind-blowing, some of the stuff they bring up in court. Yeah. I mean, and I allegedly feel he's going to be found guilty anyways. And he may even get the same. I don't know how Idaho is about the death penalty.
Well, they have it. They have it.
Because it's almost like it's like the same fate as Ted I'm getting, but not, you know, they don't do that anymore, but like the same.
I think Idaho does still.
Or electric chair?
I think so. Lethal injection?
No, I'm saying, okay, so Ted Bundy was taken out by electric chair, and I'm thinking I don't think that they do that anymore.
Okay.
I'm saying it's gonna be, it comes across as it might be the possible, you know, it might be. Okay. It's a possibility that it may have the same fate, because I feel like capital murder.
Yep.
Because they're going to be able to prove that he planned this and this was premeditated.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, obviously. So.
Right.
I mean, I'm getting sick all of a sudden. Like when I go into, I'm trying to find the knife, I just keep getting the house. Like I'm not getting a river, I'm not getting anything else. Like I'm getting the parents' house. He may have had it buried like somewhere else or put somewhere else safe until then, but I feel like I see him put it in his bag and I see him take it with him. It's got like a lockbox or some kind of special box that like has other stuff. Yeah. Like maybe stuff collected or something. Yeah. You know?
Right.
Or stuff from the night, or, you know, it's weird. I kind of like, I feel like, again, that he went in that house when they weren't there, like as a practice run.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they went out a lot or whatever, or if they, like, if there was no one ever home sometimes. Right. But it almost feels like he made practice runs, or he went in and, like, sounds weird, like I see him like smelling underwear and stuff like that, like being a weirdo like that. And I always do, again, see him like looking through windows or watching through windows. And I feel like he's got this fantasy in his head, like he's delusional.
Yeah.
But I get like mementos, like there's like a box of mementos, and that might be even like just little things like he collected before this happened, like from them.
Okay.
Like maybe napkin they used, or you know what I mean? Like maybe he did take something from the house when he was in there before. Like this comes across as like maybe a lockbox of mementos, and maybe he might have different. I don't know why he would have it at a bank. I don't really know what that is about. That's kind of weird to me, but I always say what I get in case it doesn't make sense to me. It might fit somewhere, and so I'm not really sure why I keep, unless it's just symbolic for like a lockbox kind of in like a safe place kind of situation. But it's like I have this box of mementos.
Yeah.
And it's similar to what I got in Delphi. Like I think I got a lot of stuff on him in Delphi if we go back to it.
Right.
Because there was a New York connection in Delphi, and we could never fit it. But his family's from New York.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think there's other stuff. I think Christopher also came in Delphi.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of there might be other things that I got in Delphi. Like I said, it was auto write, so it was interconnects, and I think there's going to be some stuff that may fit here.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm getting like a box of mementos, like in a safe place. I think his parents might know where like his hiding place or safe place, and I don't know if maybe they've thought about it or not thought about it.
Or trying to hide it.
Yeah. You know, his parents don't come across that way.
Okay.
His parents kind of come across like if he did this, you know, let him get in trouble for it. Like, I don't think they're trying to like hide him, or, you know what I mean? Like hide anything. It doesn't come across that way. Okay. Because they know that this was like a horrible act, and I just don't see them trying to anything from the police, you know? I really think the dad flying out there, it was more like a father-son trip. Like, like let's bond. And I think it might have been BK's idea, because I think he thought, you know, maybe eventually he'll get caught, and he wanted to spend some time with his dad before that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not getting any other place for the knife. It's like in a box hose or something, or some kind of weird lockbox in like a weird secret location that's in the house. That's how it comes across.
All right.
The fireplace in his room seems significant. Like, I'm not getting anything other than that.
Okay.
I mean, it would be nice if they would just kind of do like they do with you, like, well, on the table or in the couch, or, you know what I mean? It's
right. Ask Ted.
I don't know. I think that's all I'm getting on this. So
okay.
I think it basically was, I wanted to do like a wrap up, and it kind of wrapped up it wrapped up the case, and it just wrapped up and validated the readings, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And I actually think that it's very possible, and the reason why I was getting Jack a long time ago was I think that Jack saw this guy. I really do. I just don't think he recognized that he saw him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he was around the girls, and I think that maybe that's why he felt like he wanted to walk them home safe or something. Like, I think that everybody knew there was something going on. Like I said, Kaylee, she told people she had a stalker. Like, I think he wasn't just stalking her, though. I think he was stalking them, all the girls. And I think, I mean, I do think there was one that was more of a target than the others. It's one of the blondes. I really can't tell which one, but
Katie, I think.
Yeah, but so because some people are saying it's Maddie, because, you know, so I don't know. I mean, I know I was drawn to Maddie like in the beginning, and I think that just could be because she's like a strong personality, and she stuck out more to me. You know, that's very possible, because how they are there is how they are here. So if she had a stronger presence, then I would pick up on that. So I can't really tell you, because I see both girls, and then then I go back to whenever Ethan went like this, like pointed up to the next floor, like that's where it was at. But I mean, I think I really think Xana was too. I think it was just that whole feeling of that Ted Bundy had. He went into that house and did what he did. Like, I think he was trying to copy that.
Right.
And I'm not really sure what say the others. I know they did bolted their, they did bolted their lock. They had the dog in there. I mean, that's very possible that saved their lives, because I think if he could have got to him, he probably would have. This was like, I'm going to go in and see what I can get away with, what I can do, what I can accomplish. It's a real ego trip. And it's really, he's psychopath. He's just psychopathic.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious if the cops don't already have more than, like, as far as evidence, like as far as like the murder weapon, we don't even know, like they might have it and they're just not telling anybody. It's very possible.
Right. Yeah.
But for some reason, I do think he took it with him, though. And it's weird. Like, you would think, because sometimes when I try to find murder weapons, I find them, a lot of times people throw them in the river or like in a random spot or something, like, but this was, again, more of a memento type thing. But I wanted to kind of see and get into his mind a little bit and see what I could pick up from this, and in a way to wrap this up, because there's really not any more work for me to do on it.
Right.
And when I came back and did the auto write, it was because I told you guys I was going to be done until I felt pulled back, and one day they just pulled me back, and I think it had to do with the arrest coming. There was things that they wanted me to put out that would be validated later, like the criminology and all of that. Yeah, because I feel like sick all of a sudden. It's kind of weird. I feel nauseous. Could just need water, because I feel like a lot of channeling for some reason.
Yeah. That would be weird if it was at the bank, because they never ask you what you're putting in there or anything. They just let you in.
Yeah, but they would have
getting the house, but I'm just saying, like, it's just weird.
They would have him on camera, though. That's the thing. Like, it would be easy to track.
Right.
So that's why it doesn't make sense to me unless it's like symbolic or it has something to do with something completely different. I don't know. But I always say what I get because I never know if it could mean something anyways.
Right.
Well, I think a couple more last thoughts I want to say is that I know a lot of attention has been put on him and that's what he wants.
Yeah.
Because everybody's just blown away by who he is. And I told everybody it was going to be a surprise. I told everybody this was somebody you're not going to expect. And that's kind of how it's always felt.
Yeah.
You know, Ted Bundy issue from the beginning. And I think we really need to not try to give him the attention that he wants and put it back on the victims.
Right.
You know, the attention should be on the victims because they're the ones that lost their life. And I can't wait to see the mural that's going to get done. Because in my mind's eye, it looks really badass. It almost feels like the people that do art at the college might do something. Yeah, I see it like on this wall. I don't know if it's like the side of like, you know, side of a building kind of thing or something, or if it's in an area where like they do a memorial. I don't know if it comes across as a wall. And it's something maybe like the art students will do, like somebody that's really good at it because it's really beautiful.
I want to see it.
And I know it's something that I keep getting, and I when things repeat, I usually know that it's usually going to happen or it's like really important. And so, you know, I had this vision of them, and they've got, you know, heaven behind them, and they're all holding hands. So they're okay on the other side, but I think our attention needs to go on them and not this guy because that's what he wants. And I think I just want to remind people of that.
Yeah. I agree.
So
justice.
Yeah, because it's easy to get thrown into like people did with Ted Bundy. Like it wasn't about the victims anymore. It was about him.
Yes.
And that's what the guy wants. So everybody's giving him what he wants because he's the whole talk of everything right now. And he loves it. And he's still going to say he's innocent because, I mean, Ted did too. For how long did Ted say I'm innocent? You know, he never really admitted it.
No.
So, and he'll do the same thing. This is going to be a very similar Ted Bundy court thing is the way that I just keep seeing like Ted Bundy court, you know, and how that all thing went down and stuff.
Yeah, he represented himself.
Except for that. I don't think he'll represent himself.
Okay.
He doesn't know the legal stuff. Yeah, no, it's more of like how it was such a big trial and how everybody wanted, you know, all the girls liked them and all, like I just keep seeing like Ted in court.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's more that situation. I don't think he'll represent himself because he took on a public defender anyways, and Ted didn't even do that.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's more of just like the way the trial was and how everybody reacted to it, how it was so big, you know, just that kind of reference.
Okay.
Because they keep showing me like Ted sitting in court. He might even like grow out his facial hair or something to kind of look like how Ted did in court.
Oh goodness.
Because I keep seeing Ted like sitting in court with facial hair, and I don't know if that's what they're trying to say. Like, I mean, he might grow out his facial hair.
Okay.
Because it did look like he freshly shaved. So, and I got barber. So, and everybody was saying he grew it out, and then maybe he did just cut it like recently.
Yeah, because some of the classmates said that he wasn't like he was letting his facial hair grow out, and it wasn't normal for him.
And that's what I kept seeing too. I kept seeing him with facial hair, but then I'd see him shaved. And so that's why, because I kept getting like barber and like the sound of like, bzz, not necessarily that he went, it was just a symbolic thing. I mean, he probably cut it himself, but it was just symbolic. Like he cut all that off. Yeah. Cause I think I even said like disheveled or something at one point. I think that was in the auto right. More of a disheveled appearance, but I think I did pick up that guy, the other serial killer. Like he feels more like the stockier guy walking up and I saw that randomly at first. So that's why I think it's more the guy in Mexico. Cause I see him walking up like a town, you know? wondering if I'll have the energy to do that. I really want to do that case. I'm like, it's bugging me. I mean, they already know who he is, but I'd like to find out, like, maybe where he is, or if he has any more victims, or like anything else I can find out about him, you know?
Right. Yeah.
He feels more like the grocer energy, like with beer cans all around in the trailer and stuff. Like, he feels more like that guy from my auto, right? And maybe even someone that might work more with their hands, or like do mechanic work or something.
True. Yeah.
So it's possible the mechanic that I was seeing was kind of a separate thing to the hearing of the tire gun, but it kind of just came in together. So, because we know the tire thing, I mean, this guy got his tires done, so that could be why I was hearing the sounds of a shop. But then, like, in a kind of a separate vision, I was getting kind of that type of person, and it might just be like something he does, not necessarily for business or anything like that. Because I think he's Mexican, and they are good at that stuff sometimes.
Yes.
So that would fit more, like the working with the hands and the oil and stuff. And so that's why I think my interconnect is that, because of the Ted Bundy situation and how they're saying he's more like him, but this guy looks like him. It's like together they are. It's weird. I know I'm saying it's weird a lot, but that's really weird. With the timing of it and everything.
It is. Okay.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Oh, wait.
See you guys.
Hang around, Tammy.
Okay.
Because